Welcome to our channel and to our new smallholding here in Northwest Wales. I will do a quick bit of background on us and then we'll jump straight in and take a look around the land. So our little family includes me, hi, I'm Sam, my partner Nigel, our dog Jessie and our two cats, Jack and Molly. We moved here from the south coast of England where we lived in a city centre terraced house and our garden was about 40 square metres of patio. And we've moved here to the northwest of Wales to a 2.5 acre smallholding. So ultimately our goal is to work towards a new lifestyle that's just a bit simpler. We're not expecting it to be easy, we're expecting a lot of hard work, but we really are really enthusiastic about working towards a life where we're as self-reliant as we can be. So we have a lot of plans here. We plan to live here for a very long time, so it's not like we're going to be doing all of these things immediately, but hopefully every step we take is one closer to that lifestyle that we want and that we're going to live, for a very long time. So most of our plans revolve around creating as much of our own energy off grid as we can, and growing as much of our own food as we can. A lot of that is going to revolve around a sort of regenerative permaculture ethos, and we're also going to do lots of preserving of food and lots of eating of food. I'll go into more detail on our plans for each of those things, but just to give you an idea of the kind of thing we'll be chatting about on here. Okay, so in my head our property is divided into 4 areas: the house and the gardens, the outbuildings, the fields and the food forest. I'll put that in brackets because it doesn't really exist yet, it is just a field, but that's how I'm breaking it down in my head so that I can keep track of my plans. So I will take you around each of those areas and we'll briefly chat about plans for those. Let's go. Okay, quick disclaimer time. I am not a small holding / homesteading / farming expert in any way, shape or form. This is my first experience of having any kind of land or farming on this kind of scale. This is not going to be an expert's guide to building a small holding from scratch. This is just going to be us, two relatively normal people, learning how to do most of this from scratch, and I just wanted to share that. We've moved quite a long way from home, so I thought this would just be a cute way to share what we're up to with everyone back home. And I'm a bit of a hermit risk. I might just never leave and talk to anyone, so if this just pushes me outside of my shell a little bit, then I thought maybe it would be a cool thing to do. So I will share when things go well, I'll share when things don't go well. I really just want to keep this record of starting this place from scratch and just see where we go with it. And if you are interested to follow along, then please do. But if you're looking for an expert's guide,
yes, this is our little farmhouse. The original house here is about 170 years old. It's since had a kitchen and a couple of bedrooms added on to make it what it is today. So when we first moved in, this whole area around these 2 sides of the house was completely overgrown and there was damp issues happening inside. So we had to clear away as much as we could. And then thankfully we had that lovely summer. It really helped dry everything out. And we've not had any more problems with damp since, touch wood. But there's still quite a lot to do and tidying all this area up. But, priorities are what they are. So we also have a static caravan up here. So this is for our friends and family to come on their holidays. It's actually worked really well because we don't have a lot of space in the house. So here folks can have their own space when they visit. We're a good sort of 6 or 7 hour drive away from most of our friends and family. So this way they can, come for a longer period and have their holidays. But then our house is right here. So we get to do all the fun stuff together and whatnot, but then our guests have their own space to relax and unwind while we get on with farm life. Right, so coming around here. Oh yeah, so we had to lay all this slate down here as well because there was some exposed foundations on the house, so that was quite high priority when we moved in. This is our garden. I think other than maybe some herbs and flower borders and things like that, I'm going to try and keep the garden as a garden. But my favourite bit of this garden, if we come over to this back corner, is this view over our fields. Ain't it beautiful? let's move on. So if we come around here, this is the workshop. So this is mostly Nigel's territory. He's been doing a lot of work in there, sort of getting it up to scratch. This was one of the must-haves for our property when we were house hunting. The gardening and the food production is mostly my thing, and the off-grid and the DIY and all of that is mostly his department. So he needed a space for all his tools and whatnot, and a place that he can sort of work and do all of that all year round. I'm not going in there because I will definitely trip over something. Right, so if we come down these steps, which have fallen apart a little bit over the winter, but that's fine, we have our stables. We'll come back and look around in here for a minute, but I want to come into this area first because from up here you can pretty much see all of our land, so this should help really show you where everything is and the layout of what we're working with. So as you can see, the house and the outbuildings are up there. Then basically our land is the field surrounding this riding arena here. So if we come over here, we can sort of look down on what's going to be our annual growing fields. So it's this one here and this one over here, where you can see I've started my planning for next year's garden, but we'll take a closer look in a minute. If we pop over to this edge, then this is what is going to be our food forest up to that fence in front of the house there. And then that skinny bit alongside. So that shows you where we are. So this riding area is kind of covered in this rubber surface. So it would have been levelled and it's got a layer of sand and then it's got this rubber surface. But as you can see, most of it has been completely overgrown, which is quite a shame because a lot of effort must have gone into this. But I don't have horses, so and I don't really have any plans to have any. So I think it's, the work that it would have to go into getting this back to being able to ride on it is too much for somebody without any plans for horses. So to put that on the back burner. But if anyone's got any suggestions on what we can do with that space, then I'm very much open to them. Right, let's have a peek in the stables. So we have 6 stalls in here, which are mostly empty or being used for storage at the moment. Oh, hello. So there's this tack room down the end, which is some furniture and things left by the previous owner, but that's all handy because there's power in there. And then this stall here is what is working as my potting shed, which basically just means when we moved in, anything we had that was vaguely gardening related came straight in here. This is the makings of my potting shed. And then that's the view. I like where this is because it means I can come straight out of this door and straight into my gardens. So the stables and the workshop were also completely overgrown with brambles and things up on the sides. So early days we had to do a lot of clearing. But then if we come out here, you can see I've made a start on my garden. But it's all a bit messy at the moment. I'll do another video where we actually talk about plans and what we're going to grow. But it's just showing you where we are. That's the back of the stables there. And this was the first project that we really got started on when we moved in. This is our compost bays. So all of this wood came out of a big pile of brambles. There's some old fencing that was all just left lying around here. It's actually where that motorhome is, up on that hard standing. Didn't know that hard standing was there. It was completely covered with brambles. In there was a load of old fencing. So that's what's made up the borders on these beds and those compost bays. So at least we didn't have to be buying in wood for that. So these 2 fields down here are basically free rein for me for the annual garden, and we'll see what else as time goes on. So this edge along here is where we are planning for our solar panels to go. That's all in progress. We're just waiting for stock. Solar panels are pretty hard to come by right now. So no firm plans yet for the rest of this field. I'm hoping for goats, but I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. Right, so if we come through here, then this field is what is going to be our food forest. So there are already a couple of apple trees and a few more fruit trees planted in here, but I'll link to some videos where I chat about sort of plans for the food forest and this round of fruit trees. It's going to take quite a while for this field to look anything other than a field with some very young fruit trees in it, but it's very much a long-term plan. And you can also see the beginnings of our chicken enclosure. So hopefully it won't be too long until we're getting our own eggs out of there. That view's going to change. Right, so then this narrow field runs from the food forest field alongside this riding arena here, and then back up towards the house. I think I'm going to continue the food forest up through this space. So there is a public footpath along this side of this field here, and it's actually raised a couple of feet above what our level is, so it's a bit overlooking. It's not too busy, so it's not a huge deal, but I wouldn't mind it being a bit more private, so I figure I could pop some taller things there. And then that brings us back up to the house. Yeah, we've still got lots of work to do, but this is a nice early tour just to show you what we're working with at the moment and what it could be. I wonder if this view will ever get old.
That was just a quick whirlwind tour around the land, just to show you pretty much our starting point. So if you do want to follow our progress, then please do subscribe. I would love to have you, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.